live stream while I was on a side road and nobody was around me. I hope you all are doing well. I don't know why the color on my camera looks so bizarre. The other day I screwed something up and I somehow turned myself into the psychedelic man from one of those 1960s movies. Like I was like purple and green and blue, and I couldn't undo it. I actually had to delete the whole video because I screwed something up. Then I finally figured out what I'd done wrong. But I was quite amused that I turned myself into an alien. That was pretty cool. So, folks, if you're watching the news, hey, Red Leg, hey, Hudson, what's going on? So, my friends, I am headed to a gun show, a gun, boat, and RV show, because only in Texas do we have all these shows all at once. Come on, buddy. This guy's got a work truck full of people, and they're all joking, and nobody's paying attention. At least they're working. Hey, good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. Hey, KP, what's going on? So gun, boat, and RV show. And normally I'll try to take pictures because there are a few gun store owners who are friends of mine, but they're limited. I can't go and take a video, like walk up and down. One, it violates YouTube policy, but a lot of the displayers don't like it because they think the letter people may be spying on them and disrespecting them or whatever. Hey, Loretta. Hey, what's going on, Celtic Grandma, and anyone I missed? So, guys, it's getting interesting. So, right now, the Texas Army National Guard and the Texas State Guard, which is the governor's militia, and yes, the states can have a governor's militia that does not answer to the president. And it is constitutional and legal. I actually was part of that for 4 years. They're both headed to the border. What they're doing right now is, it seems like anyone with a criminal record who has not been expunged is getting kicked out across the board, and they're sending the families and all. They're not separating the families. Everyone's going. But ironically, where if they have a family, they can request a hearing. But they have to do it right there. Like, everyone gets taken into custody and they go to the judge to make their case. Most of who they're getting are single men between the ages of 18 and 40, which bugs the hell out of me. Hey, little lone prepper. Ironically, Mexico, one plane landed in Mexico, and Mexico was like, they're not Mexican citizens. Why are you sending them here? They went to the wrong place. They lied to our guys. They're like, oh, we're from Mexico, so they sent them to Mexico. Mexico's like, they don't belong here either. So they refueled our plane, which is now headed to Venezuela, and it's going to drop them there. And Venezuela, by international law, has to take them back. What they're saying, the approach, at least Texas and Arizona and New Mexico, hey, off the wall, long time no see, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona are taking, is if you don't have a criminal record, you're working, and you've shown up to your hearings, they'll consider you an asylum seeker as long as you're obeying the law. If you're not showing up, you snuck into the country, you didn't turn yourself in, or you have a criminal record, or check, they're kicking them out. And it's getting complicated. Believe it or not, even in Facebook groups out here, I'm hearing a lot from the local Latino population, the Mexican, the Tex-Mex, if you will, the Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Ricans who are here already, saying, no, you need to, they're turning in the gang members right now, which is getting very interesting because the gang members were not targeting your typical American, right? Even though I'm Latino, they're not going to come to my house, right? Because I'm going to rain on their parade. Even if I lose the fight, there'll be a fight. They were going after the immigrants who didn't know, they didn't know who to call. They were afraid of the police because in their country, the cops were bad. And so now the immigrants are turning in the cartel members because they're like, no, we want to be here. We came here because we were getting away from them. We don't want them here either. So, yeah, I'll just remove that dumb thing. But anyway, that's basically where we are right now in Texas. So the Texas National Guard is headed to the border. The Army Reserve is sending 1,000 troops. I thought they were going to New Mexico. They're not revealing exactly who's going where. Hey, what's up, Joe? There you go. Well, just make sure your girlfriend A and girlfriend B don't meet each other, because that could get complicated. But you're a big guy, so like if they beat you, you could probably take the beating. But in any case, good to see you though. Hey, Coffee First. We need a campaign to teach immigrants. So, true story, my sister is part of that, or she was part of that in the Carolinas. They were bringing the families in and telling them, okay, it was kind of like America 101, not the citizenship class per se, like you need to check these boxes for your green card. It was the more, this is where you're living now, all the things they don't tell you when you get your citizenship. And there's programs are popping up, and they're like, okay, so they'll bring the cops in, and they'll say, they'll bring out here they have 3 community cops. There's a guy, is a Spanish guy, is a black guy, and a white guy. They're like all the cultures, if you will, that are predominantly out here. And they go and they talk, and they're like, look, if you have a concern, this is the number you call for help, and we will get someone who speaks your language to help you. They now got a Vietnamese interpreter out here, and they're opening restaurants everywhere. They're opening bakeries. I'm meeting them in the streets, and I'm like, are you worried you'll get deported? And they're like, no, because I have papers. He said, I went to the judge, and he was broken English. I went to the judge, and he said the words, I don't know what the hell he meant by that. And then I sign, and they take my picture, and I have a license now. And I work. And you know what? If they want to come here and work and raise their kids, I'm all about that. If they're checking the boxes the way they're supposed to, let's get these cartel guys the fuck out. We don't need them here. Hey, Moreno, what's going on? So, but yeah, so they're actually targeting what it seems like right now. They're going hard after TDA, Tren de Aragua. They've chased them all over the country, especially here in Texas. And I'm talking FBI, state troopers, the Rangers, Texas Rangers, not the Army Rangers, local cops. I mean, they're chasing them hard. And then they're rescuing a lot of kids that were being trafficked. And that's kind of heartbreaking. I saw a video about a day and a half ago, and it was a young lady cop, and she's holding this little girl, maybe 11 years old, and both are crying. They're just bawling. And I don't know what the little girl went through, and I don't know what that young officer saw, but whatever it was, they were suffering together, if that makes sense. And that broke my heart, right? Because this officer's like, this is why I do this job, and I didn't make it in time for you. But they were getting that kid treated and getting them to a safer place. So now what I'm worried about is if there are bad players in the country, will they accelerate their timeline? And this is something I wonder, is if there were bad players in the country and they're like, we're going to do something in 2026, 2027, and now this is going down, right? Holman got confirmed, Hegseth got confirmed, Rubio got confirmed. I think Rubio got confirmed. Are they going to start like, oh, maybe we need to do our bad things sooner than later before they get us? So that's speculation. I don't know. But this is very disruptive, and this kind of gives me a sense of comfort. Hey, Prepper Book Club, good to see you. I saw a few other people here, Coffee, Hudson. Obviously, I'm driving, so I'm trying not to, have an accident here. But so if I miss, hey, Gerald, Conserve, if I missed any of you, I apologize. This is comforting to me, because what that's telling me is this puts pressure on any bad players, whether they're trafficking kids, trafficking drugs, or they're planning something like terroristic. They're now under scrutiny, and they know it, and it's not a secret anymore. They're open. One thing that pisses me off is in Boston, the feds went after a bunch of guys in an apartment complex, and the feds went to specific apartments. Like the local cops surrounded their apartments, I think it was the local guys, and then the feds went exactly what apartments to go through. And that tells me that our government knew where these guys were all along. Hey, Pilgrim, they knew where the cartel guys were, the rapists were, the terror watch list guys were. They knew, because as soon as they got the green light, they went to specific apartments. And to me, that pisses me off, because that means there was dereliction of duty on the part of the previous homeland people. All right, Mayorkas is a clown. All right, he allowed other immigrants who came here legitimately, other Latinos, to be victimized by the cartels because he wanted to turn a blind eye to push whatever agenda. Screw that. No, this hurt the Hispanic community, having these cartels victimize all these new immigrants who didn't know what to do or where to go when they were in trouble. So, hey, Big Chap. And I wonder, Big Chap, I wonder if that was part of the plan. If that was the case, that was genius, but that still pisses me off, because it means you've allowed them to run amok for however many years before we did something. And yeah, off the wall, aiding and abetting, that absolutely agitates you. Agitates me, sorry. It does, Pilgrim. So the feds knew exactly where to go. The Border Patrol guys were actually on the news, a local channel. And this is a Spanish guy. Like, you know what? We're excited. We got everything reorganized. We have the National Guard there with their logistics, with their trucks, their vans. We're able to process the families safely. And we're able now to pick out the bad actors. And they're going straight to ICE to get written up. And the guy said, we can do our job now. And he seemed really excited about that. And I'm excited that these guys now can protect themselves and protect the innocent people who are honestly trying to come over from the cartels and whatever other assholes we've let in. So last Thursday, so day before yesterday, they reported 1,000 deportations, 500 arrests, not including the deportations, and 200 kids and women rescued in a day. That's a big, it doesn't sound like much, you know, because we have like 15 million in the country, but that's a big number for 24 hours. And I'll tell you what, 200 women and children have been rescued. That one child is a big number to me. You save one child from rape or victimization or whatever the hell happens to them, we did good. So, hey, Rebecca Lynn, so hell yeah, get them out. And the ones who are working and they got their little families and they're going to school and they're paying leave them here, let them be part of the system, put them in line, and like everyone else did. I'm glad to see their distinguishing friend from foe. Oh, these motorcycles, this guy just cut off this poor motorcycle. So I'm sorry. It's one of the local MCs. By the way, they have a bar here called, I don't remember what it's called. It's like the Rusty Boat or something like that. It's some dumb name. It's terrible. And it's an absolute dive bar. And Sassy and I are driving around and we're like, oh, let's get some nachos and beer. And we stopped there. And it was a dive bar. There were like little families and couples just hanging out. And this whole MC, about 30 guys, walks in right behind us. And there's a long table. And they sat there and they were having like their meeting at the back end of the bar. And the waitress was one of these little, she was an all tattooed, you know, little gang girl, you could tell. And I'm like, this is probably the safest bar in town, isn't it? She said, besides the cop bar on the other side of town? Yep. She said, nobody will touch you. Nobody will touch your car. She said, a few weeks ago, someone was trying to break into her car outside. And one of the people came in and said, hey, someone's trying to break into cars. She said the whole table of the MC got up, walked out, threw the guy a beating, and then dragged him into the grass. And the ambulance showed up and collected him. The cop came in. He came in one cop, an older cop came in, talked to the guy, shook hands. He's like, yeah, what happened? Oh, he was breaking it. Oh, okay. Cop didn't even fuck with him. They're like, you took care of it. I'll arrest him. I just need to know what I'm arresting him for. So, yeah, it's ironic, you know, the MCs, they protect their hometown. So it's funny like that. But in any case, yeah, folks, it's an evolving situation. I think it's good. I think they're trying to do it smart and not just deport people willy-nilly. They're targeting the criminals, the terror watch list guys, whoever shows up on their radar that could be a bad actor are the ones they're going after first, and trying to kick them the hell out, which I think is a good thing. What I will tell all of you is what I'm hearing is some of the criminals know they're under the microscope, if you will. So they're stealing cars, they're trying to steal guns. Don't leave your guns unsupervised in your vehicle, because that's what they're looking for. They'll break into a car. If they don't steal the car outright, they're looking for a firearm. Don't give them anything they can use. Okay, if they're legit folks trying to be part of this country, they're not going to break into your car. They already got a job. Yeah, no, absolutely, Hudson. And even if you live in the country, they're hitting vehicles out here. They're stealing oil field shit. They stole a crane, like a crane truck, and they were driving away with it. But the crane truck is not fast. It's a big monstrosity, but I guess they thought, oh, we'll just drive across the town. Nobody will notice this big thing. And the cops followed him at like 30 miles an hour for like a few hours. They didn't want to get in front of it because he'd hit them. And eventually they ran out of gas. And the cops are like, just get out, man. Like, I don't want to go in there and get you. And they arrested him. But now that poor company guy, like his crane is like 20 miles away. He has to go get a driver to go get the crane and bring it back to the work site. STD. Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's like Nostradamus. It kept editing all his comments, not because he said bad things, but because of the word in his name. Now he's Nostradamus ***. Yeah, the filters are kind of stupid. I got my bougie coffee. I normally don't get Starbucks, but this Starbucks is the wife of a Navy vet, so I will go to that one because it's a franchise. So they, you know, they make their cut, and I know they have to pay the corporation, which I'm not a fan of. I told him, I said, you should open the Black Rifle here, or what do you call Combat Coffee, which is a new startup here in Texas, like a branch of that. I'd be here all the time. And but you know, if it's veteran owned, I'm gonna support them, absolutely. But anyway, Devil Dog, what's going on? And man, I've been meaning to text you for a hot minute, and I keep forgetting, because the year started, besides all the stuff going on, like my work year just went insane. But anyway, folks, so it looks like you got your man purse to go with that fancy purse. I got no purse. I don't even have, I have like, well, I have my knife and my flashlight. I got my HK on my right side, and I'm in a hoodie. I don't know, if I put my hoodie up, I'm gonna look like the Unabomber or some shit, or, you know, Ahmed the terrorist. By the way, don't make jokes about being Ahmed the terrorist in the airport, because the TSA does not think that's funny, which was my mistake. I actually got one of my friends in trouble too, because he said something in Arabic, being a shit, and then he got busted, which I thought was funny, so I started laughing at him, and then I got questioned. And I was like, dude, just need to just go through the airport and shut up until we get to the bar. But yeah, this is what happens when you Uber to the airport drunk after a business meeting, right? You show up and you're already in a smart mouth, and then you get yourself in trouble. So in any case, yeah, don't do that. But folks, look, it looks like they're taking heavy action. Yes, Texas Army National Guard's headed to the border if they're not already there. Marines are on the border in California. And the Army Reserve just sent 500 or 1,000 to Arizona to help back up Border Patrol and ICE. I think the Army, aside from just bodies on the ground, is providing heavy logistics. And they're using the Air Force C-130s to deport. so that it doesn't put the private airlines in a bind, right? Because they can hurt the private airlines as far as, their stakeholders or stockholders might beat them up. So the government's taking them out of the equation entirely and using military transports to kick them out. Families, anyone who's been showing up to their hearings, they have a job, they're not causing a problem, they have legit asylum, or they're doing the right things, they're not doing wrong, are being allowed to stay so long as they continue to do the right thing, and they're now in line to get their green card at some future time if they want to do it. So I hope they continue to do it that way. I think that's a good approach. Get the cartel guys out. We got enough assholes that we grew up here in America by ourselves. We don't need theirs as well. Hopefully this continues. I'm more worried that they get any jihadi, Al-Qaeda's, operatives from Russia, China, whoever, bad operators out. Hey, Pilgrim, yeah, for sure. Those guys need to go, even before the damn cartel guys, because they can do a lot more damage. The cartels are more drugs and trafficking. You get a bomb maker in the country, and that can be a really big problem for a lot of us. So we'll keep seeing. If I head to the border at any time for work, I've already spoken to some of the companies that we deal with, and they said, yeah, you can drive down to the border, just don't go in this area for whatever reason. So I'll bring my drone, and if they authorize me and I don't get run off by the DPS or something for getting in their way, I will try and get some footage of what's going on down there. Last time I went, it was quiet and organized in El Paso and in Eagle Pass. They were lined up, they had rows of people, everything was normal. So the way it should be. They set up tents because it started to rain out there, and they wanted the people out of the rain, which is fair. But we'll see. No, Kentucky, I have not heard more. There was a lot of speculation about the SAMs, the RPGs, stuff like that. They did stop a guy with a bunch of grenades, for smoke and frag grenades. But the guy already had an ATF license, and he was like, well, I couldn't find them here. So he was actually trying to import them. He had the paperwork, and they're like, this is not how you import this stuff. And so I think he kind of got a fine for that shit. They didn't arrest him, but I don't know what he thought he was doing, but he did it wrong. Let's put it like that. They're like, that's not how you do this. But no, as far as anything really scary, I haven't seen. Where'd all explode? So Green Thumb, that concerns me. What also concerns me is that we waited 3-4 years to really ramp up our security in the country. We've got people all over the place that we may not even know about, and that scares the hell out of me, because that's where the unpredictable stuff comes from, right? And that's not including homegrown extremism, homegrown terrorism, and stuff like that. But folks, pay attention to your local area. If you see a police operation going on, don't stick around, don't be nosy, just get the hell out, let them do their thing. And so Green Thumb, they've been going after them. They actually, it's not Texas, I think it was Oklahoma, was requiring that one of those locations be inspected by the Oklahoma State Troopers, and if they refused, they were going to shut them down. So, but yeah, and if you do have new immigrant family in your neighborhood, and they're just living their life and being normal, I encourage you to go talk to them, ask them what their story is. It's a good way to meet new people. And introduce them to the community, introduce them to the country, tell them, where can they get help so they don't get victimized by these cartel guys. Because as the pressure ramps up, the cartel guys are going to try to leverage innocent people to protect themselves, if you catch what I mean. You know, maybe use their house as a hiding place or whatever. So you want to, if you do have new families and you want them to be part of a community, go and talk to them. No, I agree, Green Thumb, they shouldn't. Purple-haired Trump lovers, anything can happen. You know, those guys scare me more than the immigrants, because they're deranged. But no, if you do have a new family, I'm sure all of you have a friend who speaks English and Spanish somewhere in your community. If they speak Spanish, go and introduce yourself with your friend. Say, hi, we're your neighbors. Welcome to the area. Where are you from? What's your name? What do you do? Do you have kids? And, you know, do what we normally do and make them feel part of the community, because they also bring old world skills with them. The farming, the agriculture, the carpentry, all those skills that Americans have lost. And that could be a valuable friend to have if things go sideways in the future. But anyway, look, guys, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. I'm going to head into this gun show and see what mischief I can get into. And I know at least one of my friends owns a gun store, and he's supposed to be here. So I'm going to go and rearrange his table just to be a shit, and then run away, because he's 6'4" and like 230, and he will drag me around. Like, he's a big boy. He's Jason size, like Angry Prepper size, but he's a big redneck boy instead of a black dude. So anyway, you guys be good, be safe, be careful out there. God bless. Make some new friends. If you have new families that have come to the country and they're in your neighborhood, go talk to them if they want to talk. I met a family from Gabon the other day that moved down the street. He's actually like a doctor or something. Like, he's a physician. Nicest people ever. And they were setting up shelves of groceries. They said, no, the COVID, we will not run out of food again. They learned. So they're becoming preppers, even though they don't know it yet. So anyway, good for them. Anyway, go make some friends. Be safe this weekend. God bless. We'll see y'all later.